Senior living operators face a complex set of challenges. How do you stay ahead of the pack? Listen in to From Leads to Leases, a CCR Growth podcast for expert solutions that transform problems into opportunities. And maybe someday soon you'll partner with us to generate $1.5 million and up in additional revenue per community in just 12 months. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of From Leads to Leases, the podcast where we dive deep into senior living and senior care, offering insights, strategies, and stories from the forefront of the industry, and talk about marketing, sales, operations, ethics, and so much more. I think I keep adding to that list. I'm your host, Jerry Vinci, CEO of CCR Growth, here to guide you through the evolving landscape of connecting communities with the families and residents they serve. In today's episode, we'll be discussing the pressing issue of ageism in America and its impact on the senior living industry. So, ageism is simply discrimination on the grounds of someone's age. And the best way I think I can illustrate this issue would be talking about recent events. So let's set the stage for this conversation. So with the oldest presidential candidates in history running for office, ageism became a hot topic for most of us in 2024. Today, I want to talk about the recent presidential debate, but also explore how modern medicine and lifestyle changes are allowing people to live longer, healthier lives. This should reshape our views on aging and retirement, but in many areas of society, the stigma of aging continues to persist. We'll also look at the benefits that older adults bring to the workforce and to their communities, and how the senior living industry should be leading the way in supporting active, engaged older adults, reshaping the narrative from nursing homes and residential communities to active adult or lifestyle communities. So first, let me just say, I get that politics is a polarizing issue, and starting with that topic is going to turn some people off. We're also divided in this country when it comes to our beliefs about what's best for the country, but I promise you I intend to keep the focus of this episode around the topic of ageism and how the debate on June 27, 2024 between President Biden and former President Trump put a spotlight on the age of both candidates. The debate had so much of an impact that, in my opinion and others, it was the driving force behind Joe Biden exiting the presidential race due to the pressures from party leaders and donors who felt he had, quote unquote, shown his age. Many Democratic voters were also upset and speculative that leaders in the party probably had known for some time that he had been showing signs of aging, but they neglected to admit this might jeopardize his ability to govern effectively for another term. Therefore, the argument seems to be, had more people in the party been aware of his decline, there would have been far less support for another term. Even back in 2020, early in his campaign, some of Biden's advisors and sources close to his campaign indicated that he could or would potentially be a one-term president, presenting himself as a quote-unquote transition figure to a new generation of Democratic leaders. So it was actually a surprise to many when he announced a second term that would see him exit the Oval Office at the age of 86. So let's just check in with all of you real quick. Hearing all of that, how does that make you feel? Is it okay that such harsh criticisms were being made because of Biden's age before the debate, or during and after the debate based on his performance? Some perceived it or tried to spin it as just a bad night on the debate stage, while others were saying that Biden truly showed America his age that night. And again, here we are, we're talking about age. Was there a preconceived expectation about how he would show up because of his age? And would you define any of this as ageism? In the arena of modern day politics, age only seems to be scrutinized as a major factor when we're talking about the next president, or when a politician remains in office into their late 80s or early 90s. For example, if we look at Senator Dianne Feinstein, she passed away in 2023 at the age of 90 and had remained in office until her death, even though she was showing some serious signs of cognitive decline and had been since 2020. Overall, I can empathize with the lack of concern around age to a point outside of presidential candidates, just like let's say the quarterback or captain of your favorite sports team. No one wants to rely on someone to lead who's past their prime and not up to the job. If the goal is to win and put your best foot forward, you can't do that unless you have the best team who are of both able body and sound mind. But that isn't always tied directly to age. The conversation should be more about the cognition than age, as cognitive decline is the real definition of when someone's ability to lead or to know what's best for themselves and others could be brought into question. Of course, like everything in politics, age not being a factor is debatable, sure. But if you look at the data, the average politician in America is nearing retirement age and they're white. In fact, 62% of elected offices are held by white males, even though they only make up 30% of the population. And if you look specifically at the U.S. Senate, the average age of a U.S. senator is 65. So baby boomers, the group that is exploding into the senior living housing market, make up the largest represented group in the chamber. So it would seem that older adults are more than capable of holding office, but at a certain age, we question whether they're young enough to lead a governing body. Does that make sense to you? So back to the question at hand, what narrative have you been raised to believe? When do you think old age starts? And what expectations or limitations would you expect to implement with your aging parent or loved one over 75, 80, 85, 90? Are there limitations, or is the idea that there is a certain age where we can consider someone elderly and no longer capable an outdated belief? Is this simply based on the fact that prior generations' life expectancies were lower and their quality of life beyond 65 significantly diminished due to a number of factors like poor diet or smoking or lack of exercise, their living conditions, medical treatments that were available at the time, or even workplace safety? A recent podcast guest of mine said they like to focus on stage and not age. And I thought this was a brilliant way to reframe how we perceive older adults. So thanks, Caleb, with seniorcareacademy.com. Definitely make sure to check them out. But I think we can use this shift in narrative to help us retrain our preconceived notions about a person's capabilities simply based on age. I mean, we see it all the time. There are 90-plus-year-olds like Lou Hollander who are still active Ironman and triathlete participants. And there are 50-year-old adults who can barely walk a mile. Clearly, age alone isn't a factor when it comes to physical ability. There are often one or many other underlying causes that physically limit someone's mobility. For example, their overall lifestyle choices, their genetic disposition, some type of injury or impairment, or another disability. The same can be said for mental health and cognitive decline. It isn't always based on age, but older adults are definitely more susceptible to loss of mental faculties than younger adults. In fact, according to the Alzheimer's Association, 33% of people age 85 and older have Alzheimer's disease, and that's only what's been reported. And even if we look at people over 75, up to 20% experience some form of cognitive impairment. So again, going back to the presidential debate, given the prevalence of ageism in America, we shouldn't be surprised over the concern of whether or not an 82-year-old, even one who's said to be in good mental and physical health, could have led the country for another 4 years when there is a 1 in 3 chance that he would develop Alzheimer's during his second term. However, we're seeing a positive shift in scientific proof and in societal acceptance around older adults here as well. There was a study done around 2014 where they found that adults aged 95 scored better than a group that was the same age 10 years earlier in 2004. 23% of the group in 2014 scored in the highest category on a standardized cognitive test, while only 13% scored as high in a group of the same age born a decade earlier. The latter group was also noticeably better at carrying out basic living tasks like getting themselves out of a bed or getting out of a chair. The study found that these increases came from better education, increased intellectual stimulation throughout their entire lifetime, better living conditions, and healthier diets that started earlier in their life. So even today, while the statistics around Alzheimer's are alarming, according to the Harvard School of Public Health, the incidence of dementia has actually been decreasing by 13 to 15% per decade over the last 30 years. And again, the common theme here is improved health, higher education levels, and healthier lifestyles that began earlier in life. So, in cases of mental, cognitive, and physical health, we can see that older adults are performing at higher levels than in the past, and their environment and lifestyle choices seem to play as great a role in their physical and mental stability as does their age alone. And in some cases, it's even more of a significant factor. Going back to that term, stage and not age, there's a great article on the website Right at Home, a senior home care agency out of San Antonio, that outlines the 5 stages of life, all of which have little to do with age itself. So stage 1 is independence, where most older adults remain in their home and take care of their own needs. They might have experienced some mental or physical decline, but not enough to impact their life. When we get into stage 2, we move to interdependence, where an older adult is having difficulty with daily activities and might start to have both physical and mental decline. Their quality of life also begins to suffer. This is typically where getting help at home or moving a loved one to an assisted living community becomes the best option. Stage 3 is dependency, and this is where changes that are more prevalent with older adults begin to become more noticeable. Everyday tasks become difficult for older adults to perform on their own to the point where it might be inappropriate or unsafe for them to try to do these things independently, like driving a car or traveling outside their familiar surroundings. Quality of life is significantly impacted because of this, and they'll start to need help from professional healthcare providers or a family caregiver, or in some cases, finding a community that offers a higher level of assisted living or possibly even memory care might be the best option. Stage 4, older adults reach the point of crisis management and are typically dealing with advanced stages of dementia and mobility issues to the point they need around-the-clock monitoring and care in a formal health care setting. And then lastly, stage 5 typically entails hospice care and other end-of-life services to ensure someone is comfortable receiving the care they need and is able to maintain some quality of life until their death. I personally believe that we have to assess the person based on what stage of life they're in rather than their age to truly determine their need. This will help both younger and older adults have a more productive conversation about their health and wellness without arguing that they should or shouldn't be able to do things because of their age. Dad, you're 75. Why are you still trying to mow the lawn by yourself? Or Mom, you're 83. Why are you still cooking dinner for the whole family? Let's not take away someone's joys and freedoms just because of our personal biases around their age. So thanks to the advancements in modern medicine and lifestyle, people are not just living longer, they're living healthier lives and thriving far longer than past generations. Modern medical breakthroughs such as improved treatments for chronic diseases, advanced surgical techniques, and better diagnostic tools have significantly increased life expectancy and quality of life for older adults. For example, in 1950, the global life expectancy at birth was 47 years. That has increased to 72 years by 2022. COVID actually impacted this upward trend and reversed some of those gains. I think we were on track for life expectancy to be around 74 years, but since COVID, that has settled a bit lower at 72 years. There have also been major innovations in pharmaceuticals, so how we administer medications and other medical technologies that allow for better management of conditions that previously limited the activities and longevity of older adults. Two great examples would be pacemakers and minimally invasive surgical techniques. So pacemakers and other similar devices help regulate abnormal heart rhythms and allow individuals with slow heart rates to maintain more active lifestyles, and have also been shown to improve survival rates and quality of lives for patients with severe arrhythmias. Minimally invasive surgery like laparoscopic surgery or robotic-assisted surgery reduce trauma and speed up recovery times to allow patients to return to normal activity sooner. As a result, the notion of what it means to age has fundamentally changed. These medical developments and lifestyle improvements we've seen in older adults compared to previous generations demand a shift in our thinking about retirement and the roles adults over 65 can play in society. Now, I recognize this podcast is for the senior living industry, but I'm also here to push the boundaries of your thought process around solving the challenges the industry faces. One of those major challenges is dwindling occupancy, even in the face of an increasing surge of an aging baby boomer population. Many industry specialists and providers, they still have a traditional view of retirement that it's defined by age alone, which means they're looking at it as a period of complete withdrawal from professional and regular social activities. This is outdated and a completely unnecessary view of what retirement living could and should be. Even if they don't share this view, little is being done to shift the narrative across the industry outside of what you're seeing in a number of CCRCs and independent living communities that are creating a more lifestyle-centric approach to attracting younger residents. Most of them are not focused on age, but on activity level, overall health, wellness, and creating a community that residents are yearning to be a part of, which is probably why they have the highest occupancy rate of all care segments, even though the entry fees are significantly higher than any other living option. Because of the lack of options in some areas and old-fashioned approach to senior living that some providers continue to perpetuate, many older adults are choosing to remain at home and stay active, both in the workforce and in their communities. The shift isn't merely a necessity because of a longer life expectancy driving up total financial needs or because of poor financial planning, but often a deliberate choice to stay engaged and continue contributing meaningfully, not just because they can't afford not to work, but because they enjoy what they do. Today's older adults are much healthier. Their jobs are less physically demanding, and there are a lot of careers and employers today that value the wisdom and leadership that is sometimes decades in the making. Some senior living options simply can't compete with this level of fulfillment, no matter how socially engaging or community focused they might be. And for some older adults, if there is no cost savings to moving in, or even some cost savings, but a negative impact on their freedoms, available space, ability to work, and engage in other activities, there just isn't the same level of interest as there once was, if senior living providers continue to frame it the same old way. Look, providers today cannot underestimate our desire to maintain a sense of purpose and the ability to leverage decades of experience and knowledge for our personal gain. These are powerful motivators for older adults and an incentive to remain active and play an engaged role in society. And that's going to continue for the foreseeable future. These changes in perspective for how today's older adults see the world highlight the importance of senior living providers evolving their approach to cater to the needs and aspirations of a more vibrant and active older population. Even with everything I just said, that might sound like the deck is stacked against you, senior living communities are uniquely positioned to support this demographic by offering environments that promote continued engagement and fulfillment. Communities can provide workspaces, networking opportunities, and wellness programs that are tailored to older adults who are not ready to fully retire. In fact, in 2022, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that roughly 20% of adults aged 65 and older were working or actively seeking work. And even in active adult communities where the focus is mostly on retirement living, there are on average anywhere from 10 to 20% of residents who are still employed or self-employed in some capacity. So ask yourself, is your community catering to the needs of this market? Is there any incentive or appeal for working older adults to become a part of your community without losing integral pieces of their identity? With an aging population that's more adept at focusing on stage over age and lifestyle over care options, senior living communities must focus on holistic wellness programs that encompass physical, mental, and emotional health. Activities that promote fitness, cognitive health, and social connections are essential, as are a multitude of business support services and co-working spaces for those who might need it. Lastly, emphasizing preventative care and providing access to cutting-edge medical services within the community can further enhance the quality of life for residents, ensuring everything you need for continued growth and development are provided in one place. So I know we talked a little bit about the benefits of older adults in the workforce, but I want to also stress the benefits of their active contributions in the senior living community as well. As we all age, we bring a wealth of experience, knowledge, and stability to the workforce and the communities we serve, making the active contributions from adults over the age of 65 invaluable. Studies have consistently shown that older workers can significantly enhance productivity, they can mentor younger employees, and offer diverse perspectives to problem solving. For example, a study by the AARP found that businesses with a mix of age groups in their workforce tend to perform better and have higher rates of innovation. The intergenerational synergy not only benefits companies, but also enriches the working environment, fostering a culture of continuous learning and adaptation. In the context of senior living, couldn't and shouldn't the same be true? If communities were to leverage the contributions of their residents in more meaningful ways, it could present numerous advantages. For example, senior living communities that encourage and facilitate active participation of their residents see improvements in community engagement and overall satisfaction for both residents and the staff. And I'm not just talking about getting residents to participate in your group activities like movie night or chair yoga. I'm talking about tapping into the rich life experiences and diverse skill sets older adults in these communities have that can be harnessed to do things like mentor younger staff, participate in advisory roles, chair different resident committees, organize skill sharing workshops, facilitate volunteer opportunities within and outside the walls of the community, or lead community activities. Additionally, older adults often bring a seasoned, calm, steady approach to problem solving, which can be particularly beneficial in high-stress situations commonly encountered in senior living facilities. This type of active involvement helps create a vibrant, dynamic environment that benefits all residents and drives a deep sense of community and empowerment. Two of the biggest pushbacks we often hear about when trying to get an older loved one into senior living are fear over a loss of identity and fear over a loss of control. And when communities create opportunities to collaborate with residents in more meaningful ways, they'll feel more open, connected, and fulfilled. So the active contribution of older adults offers substantial benefits that extend across the workforce and community settings. For senior living providers, tapping into this resource can lead to enhanced productivity, improved staff retention, and a stronger, more engaged community. By fostering an environment that values and leverages the experience and skills of older adults, senior living communities can thrive and set a benchmark for excellence in the industry. I think we need to recognize the traditional view of retirement is evolving. If we are to focus on stage of life rather than age alone as a determining factor, we need to reevaluate societal norms around what older adults are allowed to do. We're living longer and experiencing a much greater quality of life along the way. Providers should be thinking about how to cater to this diverse group of energized older adults who may be looking to start another career or continue their current career while considering senior living as an option. The narrative that senior living is only for retirees or those who cannot cognitively function among the rest of society has got to change. Senior living must broaden its appeal so that it can and should also be an option for those looking to pursue an active and fulfilling lifestyle. For owners and operators who are looking to leverage an evolving retirement mindset, here are 5 ways to appeal to a broader audience. So number 1, promote active lifestyles. Highlight the amenities and programs available that support an active lifestyle, such as fitness centers, walking trails, and wellness programs. Showcasing opportunities for more advanced forms of physical activity and wellness can attract seniors who are not ready to slow down. I mean, I know some adults over 65 doing CrossFit and triathlons. Age really is just a number for some of us and not a reason to stop reaching for our personal goals. Number 2, offer professional development and entrepreneurial opportunities. Create programs that support continued professional growth, such as workshops, seminars, business planning sessions, access to mentors, and networking events with other businesses and business leaders. By providing spaces for professional development, senior living communities can attract residents who are looking to continue their careers or even start new ones. How many residents do you have at your community that have talked about always wanting to do something but never finding the time? Well, maybe now is the time, and maybe you can help provide some resources to help them make that happen. I know some adults over 65 who get their law degree or become a therapist for the first time, or finally find time to start working as a commissioned artist or a musician. Number 3, provide flexible workspaces. Design and promote flexible workspaces within the community. These can include co-working spaces, meeting rooms, and high-speed internet access. This is the bare minimum criteria you need to meet moving forward, and anything less just won't cut it. These will act as an incentive for residents who wish to work remotely, start their own business, or engage in freelance work. And keep in mind that as of 2022, anywhere from 10 to 20% of most independent community residents are still active in the workforce. As life expectancy increases and more baby boomers enter senior living communities, this number will increase significantly. So set your community up for success. Number 4, highlight outside community engagement. Emphasize the opportunities for residents to engage with the broader community through volunteer work, partnerships with local businesses, and involvement in civic activities. Active engagement can enhance the sense of purpose and fulfillment among residents. And it's really important for a senior living residents to be seen as part of a broader community, and for the residents and staff to understand that their presence is felt, that it matters and it's appreciated. When senior living providers and their residents give back to their local community, a genuine sense of altruism develops. This fosters a reciprocal relationship, making the local community more likely to offer help to the senior living community when it's needed. And lastly, number 5, develop tailored marketing campaigns. Develop campaigns that specifically target active seniors who are still engaged in their professional lives. Use messaging that speaks to their aspirations, highlighting the community's support for continued growth and engagement. If active seniors were aware of how senior living communities support older adults, it leaves room for discussion, and it could become a serious option for them to consider, rather than being like, no way am I moving into that old folks home. Especially today with digital marketing, you can target specific age groups and interests, which would make it easy to target working older adults with a targeted message. If you want to attract active seniors, providers must convey that their communities are vibrant, dynamic places where residents can continue to grow personally and professionally. For example, marketing materials should feature testimonials from residents who are still working or involved in community projects, emphasizing the community's role in supporting their endeavors. As society's view of aging continues to evolve, it's crucial to challenge ageism and embrace the contributions of older adults. Senior living communities have a unique opportunity to lead this change, offering innovative solutions that cater to the needs of older careerists and not just retirees. Senior communities play a pivotal role in fighting the stigma of ageism by redefining what it means to age actively and productively by focusing on someone's stage of life rather than year of life. These communities can become beacons of inclusivity and respect by fostering environments where older adults are valued for their contributions, their wisdom, and experience. Communities can also highlight the achievements and ongoing contributions of their residents, which will further combat negative stereotypes associated with aging. Celebrating milestones, sharing success stories, and featuring resident-led initiatives in marketing materials and community events can shift perceptions and inspire others to recognize the potential and vitality of older adults. Lastly, senior living communities are in the best position to advocate for policies that support the active participation of older adults in the workforce and community life. By collaborating with local governments, businesses, and nonprofits, these communities can help shape policies that promote age-friendly workplaces, anti-discrimination practices, and initiatives that encourage lifelong learning and professional development for older adults. Okay, that wraps up today's episode on ageism in America and its impact on senior living. For today's modern adult senior living communities need to be asking themselves, how can we be the solution for older careerists and not just retirees? how can we gently support our residents and encourage their desire for independence while keeping them in an environment that also promotes health, wellness, and safety? And lastly, how can we shift the narrative around ageism to focus on what stage of life someone is in rather than the year on their birth certificate? If you enjoyed this episode and found it insightful, please subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform and stay tuned for more discussions on the dynamic world of senior living and senior care. While we are a marketing and growth agency that exclusively focuses on the senior living industry, I'm here to challenge you to think about all corners of the industry and how they impact the lives of the residents we aim to serve. Also, this is a reminder that From Leads to Leases isn't just an audio experience, we're also a video podcast. So if you want to see the video versions of our episodes, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube or Spotify channels. I'm Jerry Vinci, CEO of CCR Growth, thanking you for joining us on From Leads to Leases, where we're giving you all of these great senior living industry insights for free and asking nothing in return other than for you to like, subscribe, and share this episode with anyone who might find it useful. I'm truly grateful for your time and attention. Until next time, lead with strategy and with heart. Chat with you again soon. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. Explore more at ccrgrowth.com. At CCR Growth, we've developed the Senior Growth Innovation Suite to unlock an additional $1.5 million and up in revenue per senior living community within a year. We specialize in generating quality leads, expediting sales, and reducing acquisition costs. Let's connect soon.